Hey, what's up guys? Spencer Rhodes here, and this is my review of The Walking Dead issue 175. Okay, so this was a pretty crazy issue. I mean, this issue was pretty goddamn wicked. Like, holy shit. This issue was pretty crazy. I mean, no one died, but I mean, that's kind of a good thing when you have a really good issue of The Walking Dead without someone dying. I really liked issue 174, and no one died. Issue 174 is probably one of my favorite issues on the whole series, but I digress. This issue, 175, introduced a lot of things. It didn't introduce everything. You know, we're still going to get some major reveals in the next couple of issues, but basically, the people that were pointing guns at Michonne's group, it's Michonne, Janita, Eugene, Magna, Yukimo, Sadiq, yeah, those six, they were the soldiers. We've seen these soldiers before on the cover. It's the, I think it was this cover, 175, with the female president. Maybe not, but there's a cover with the female president type lady, and then the guards with the white armor. We saw those, and this was something that I expected. I had actually speculated about, which is that there's hundreds of them at least. I mean, maybe 50, 100, but I'm guessing there's probably hundreds of them, and these are just like the enforcers, you know, like people that protect everyone from walkers. Maybe they enforce the law or something, like they arrest people that commit crimes in their community. Who knows, you know, or maybe they all protect the female president. But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of these soldiers with this armor, and I actually think it's cool. I think it's realistic that eventually the survivors would evolve and they would come together, and there would be thousands of them, and there would be those soldiers that, you know, it's not like the policemen of the modern day, or, you know, soldiers in the war. These are soldiers for the walkers, for the zombies. They need full body armor to protect them. But yeah, that totally makes sense. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. And then we meet Lance, who a lot of people say that he looks like Negan with combed hair. Yeah, he kind of looks like Negan. He seems like kind of a bitch. Like, he might be okay, but he seems like kind of a bitch, like, just a little bit. He seems like kind of a bitch. Like, I don't trust him. I feel like, if he was, like, in a really dangerous situation, like, he'd just freak out like a bitch, and, I don't know, he just seems kind of like a coward and a bitch, and someone who looks out for himself. You know, he's got this confidence because he's surrounded by 50 people with armor, so, you know, who knows. But he, you know, he talks to the six survivors, Michonne's group. He talks to them, asks them questions, asks them what their names are. He says, this is just standard procedure. And then Eugene's like, where's Stephanie? I want to talk to Stephanie. And they say, Stephanie was not authorized to talk to you, but you come where we are and you'll talk to Stephanie. So we don't see Stephanie in this issue, which I'm a little concerned about. I'm a little concerned that there might be something going on that we don't know about, because they say that there's 50,000 people, but we don't see them. We haven't seen them yet, so it could be the next issue, and then it's like a group. They're just pretending, you know, like they're actually the new group of bad guys. But I doubt it. I want to say this is actually genuinely 50,000 people. You know, the new world order. Really, this new world order. They're called the Commonwealth. That's what they're called. That's what they call themselves, the Commonwealth. But we haven't seen, you know, all we've seen so far are Lance, all the people in the white armor, and the black guy in the red armor that was in the cover, and then the female president lady that, again, was in the cover. So I'm thinking they're legitimate. I'm reserving some bit of skepticism, because I don't want it to be like the first page of the next issue and then they just like capture Michonne and Eugene's group, and or like it's like another governor's group. Because remember how the governor's group was when we first met the governor. He seemed kind of like Lance. He seemed like this sort of charming, friendly leader that had all of his shit together and had all these hundreds of people. And then at the very end of his introduction, at the very end of that issue, because he kept calling Rick stranger. Well, hi, stranger. Well, hello, stranger. And then Rick's like, then the governor's like, well, we got these walkers, and we feed them strangers. So like then that's like the big plot twist. Like they're actually going to be bad guys. He actually wants to kill Rick and everything. And they could still do that. They could still try to do that with these bad guys. The picture at the end, that kind of makes it seem like maybe I don't see how they could fake that. So like I said, it's probably okay, unless unless there used to be 50,000 people, unless there used to be Michonne's daughter, and then something happened, so now they're just pretending to be. Because like I said, we haven't seen the 50,000 people yet. We haven't seen Stephanie yet. So I don't know. But I do think that this is a legitimate community of people, and it probably is legitimate. It probably is legitimately 50,000 people. But even if they are like super good guys, super new good guys, they could still have a dark side. There could still be some dark secrets, like the female president. She puts on this this friendly face and this whole political goodness, but behind closed doors, she has a bunch of skeletons in her closet. Like there's some really bad problems, and she doesn't tell the general public about them. And something that Rick finds out, I could see that happening. At this point, I really do think that this is genuinely a group of good guys. These are all going to be good guys. Well, maybe not all of them. There could be some bad guys within the community. It could be like half the community is bad guys or something. Like there's another guy that's trying to kill the female president and climb to power. And that could be like a new conflict or a new war. I really like my idea of Rick meeting this female president, and he becomes her advisor. He becomes her, what's it called? Not Secretary of Defense, but Chief of Staff. Like Rick is the female president's Chief of Staff. I'm a big 24 fan, so I kind of know how this stuff works, but because they're sort of building to that with Rick. With Rick's story, they're kind of building to Rick not really being the main character anymore. Not just that, but not being the leader anymore, not being the guy that makes all the hard choices. One of the titles in one of the comics, it's called Heavy Hangs the Head That Wears the Crown or something like that. And that's true with Rick. Rick has had that burden of being the leader, of making the hard choices. He's lost Andrea. He's lost almost everyone. The characters that are really close to him have kind of moved on. Carl has moved on to the hilltop. Michonne is doing, Michonne. Jesus is with Maggie. Dwight and Rick are kind of having I don't even know. I don't know if they're going to be able to repair their friendship or not. But the only person that Rick is really close to right now is Nicholas' son. I think it's Nicholas' son. Nicholas and his wife are dead, and it's their kid. Yeah, it's their kid. Rick was spending time with him and teaching him stuff. So that might be a character that Rick is close to now that Carl has kind of moved on. But the point is that Rick no longer wants to be the guy that makes the hard decisions. He is broken. He's been broken since Andrea died. He has not recovered. I don't think he ever will recover. He always will be that broken man because of Andrea. Andrea broke him. He does what he needs to do for his people. If it was just for him, he would have killed himself. But he has to do the hard things for his hundreds and hundreds of people at Alexandria. That was what Andrea told him before she died. You've got to put yourself back together. You've got to stay the leader. You've got to continue doing the right thing because there's hundreds of people that depend on you. You just have to do it. He's like, I can't, and she's like, you can and you will. And then she dies. But make no mistake, Rick is still broken. So for him to no longer be the prime leader that makes all the hard choices, that makes sense. But he's so experienced. We've seen him, go through everything, develop over this 175 issues, from this everyday cop or everyday sheriff to this badass with like all these scars and missing body parts and dead love interests and dead daughter. Like Rick, really, like Abraham said in the TV show, he has every fine grain of shit. Like he's been through it all. He's been through it all. We've read this character's story, this character evolve over this 175 issues, and we trust him. We trust his judgment. He's experienced. He's going to be more experienced than anyone at the Commonwealth. I guarantee it. More than the female president, and that's what the female president is going to find invaluable. Rick's experience. Rick's experience being a leader, Rick's experience with people, Rick's experience with bad people, Rick's experience with bad situations. It doesn't matter what got thrown at Rick. Rick figured out a way to handle it, and he pretty much did it with a cool head on his shoulders. No matter how many body parts he lost, or how many scars he got, or how many girlfriends got killed, or how many of his friends got killed, he survived. He did the hard stuff because he was the leader. I think that could be what the female president finds invaluable. Like I said, that could be why Rick becomes her chief of staff, her advisor. Maybe the comics could get to where there is no longer a main character. Rick has barely been the main character over the past 20, 30, 40 issues. Just sort of have it be like a shared thing. Like, don't have there be a main character. Don't kill off Rick, but just don't have him be the main character anymore. Like, maybe like Negan, Rick, Carl are like the top 3 main characters of the story. Maybe the female president is like one of the top main characters of the story, or Dwight, or Maggie, or Michonne. Like, these characters could start to sort of share the importance more. There's no main character. We just have these 6, 7 main characters, and they all get equal screen time, or whatever you want to call it. But I really do think that Rick could be the female president's chief of staff. And that could be a really interesting direction for the comics. We're still going to have bad guys. We're still going to have fights and battles and deaths. But at the end of the day, the Walking Dead comics are about the society recovering from the walkers. It can't just be everyone dying. There's no point in going 7 years into the apocalypse if everyone's dead, or if it's just the same old little tiny community struggling to survive, fighting bad guys, getting killed. We should see something more interesting than that 175 issues into the story. And with what everyone is saying about, well, not everyone, but what people are saying about, they weren't really sure about the direction that the story has been going with. You saw the covers of the New World Order and the characters and the corny looking armor, and I do agree the armor's kind of corny looking. And they're like, I don't know, this seems like a weird direction for the comics. I said, give it a chance. Don't judge by the covers, judge by the actual story. And I think the actual story, this is really the first issue where we've had these new characters, where we've seen some of these new characters. I think it's been more well received than the covers, and that's what I was saying earlier. Don't judge by the covers. The covers are just a part of what we're actually going to see in the comic. When you actually see it in a comic, it might be better, and then you might understand the covers. And I think it's true. Issue 175 was really good. The way they introduced the guys with the armor, Commonwealth, this new gigantic, probably gigantic, community of 50,000 people. I think it works. I'm excited to see this. Maybe characters don't die as often, but I still think it's going to be a really interesting direction for the comics. And for all we know, the story's 2/3 of the way over. We might be getting not to the end game, but the beginning of the third act. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? And the third act would still be like 100 issues, so a lot of shit's going to happen. I seriously doubt the story's going to end at issue 200, issue 300 maybe, issue 400. I hope so. I don't want the comics to get to where they're bad or Robert Kirkman dies of a heart attack. For me, the comics are Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adler. You take one of those players out of the game and you might as well end the comics instantly. But I am really excited for this direction, and I'm thrilled at what is happening. As for the twist of Michonne's daughter, at first I thought that's kind of corny, but I like it. I mean, I get the sense that these Commonwealth people, they do like go really far out and look for survivors. That's why there's 50,000 people. That's a lot of people. So the plot twist of Michonne's daughter being alive, that was really good. It didn't seem corny. It didn't seem over the top. It might be a way to sort of make Michonne relevant again. I'm sorry, has she really done anything lately? I mean, she helps characters do this and she helps characters do that, but storyline wise, she hasn't done much since Ezekiel died. But that's just me. I'm actually looking forward to what this means. Hopefully she reunites with her daughter. But yeah, I'm still skeptical about why are they holding back the thing with Stephanie? Why are you holding back Stephanie unless there's something, a twist or something? I mean, if Stephanie is just a normal woman that talked to Eugene, why didn't they just show her in this issue? Unless that's what they want us to think. You know, it's, you know, oh, they're holding her back, so it's going to be something we don't expect, like she's dead or something. But you know, who knows? Maybe Stephanie's the female president. You know, that'd be a brilliant twist. And that way we kind of were like, oh, well, in a way we've kind of spent some time with her character. We haven't actually like seen her talk, but we've heard her, or we've seen her talk to Eugene a lot. So who knows? I'm wondering, why are they holding back Stephanie? It could be because they want us to think that there's something going on, but that, you know, something bad going on, or, you know, there is something bad going on. I guess we'll find out next issue or the issue after. You know, who knows? I'm guessing next issue we're just going to continue to be introduced to these new characters. But at some point we need to go back to Rick's group and see what they're up to. So I don't know when that's going to happen. But yeah, overall I really liked this issue. I was optimistic. I wanted to give this new storyline a fair chance, and so far it is everything I've hoped it to be, and even more. So I'm really excited for the direction that the comics are going, and I really look forward to the next few issues over the next few months. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't be shy, hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I'm Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye!